So today we're going to dive into a story that really blurs the line between medicine and, well, belief. It comes from a source called Apex Med Insights, and it's all about a 12-month challenge that could either totally redefine healing or end up as a serious cautionary tale.
But before we get into their claims, I want you to really put yourself in this person's shoes for a second. Imagine you've just walked out of the doctor's office, you've got your test results in your hand, and the news is it's not good. In fact, it's just overwhelming. Honestly, what's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Because this is the actual diagnosis a patient got. We're talking early-stage prostate cancer, kidneys only working at half capacity, very, very low testosterone. And it doesn't stop there. A high risk of blood clots, major insulin resistance, cholesterol at 255, even an overstressed liver. You see, it's not just one thing, it's a whole cascade of problems. For a lot of people, a list like this would feel like a life sentence.
Okay, so you're facing all of that. Now what if, in the middle of all that noise and fear, a voice just cuts through and says, all of it could be reversed. Not just managed, but completely 100% fixed. Well, this is the absolutely extraordinary promise made by our source, Apex Med Insights.
And this is it. This is their core promise, translated here from Romanian, we can cure anyone. Notice the word choice there. Not help, not treat, cure. It's such an absolute statement, right? The kind that just immediately makes you raise an eyebrow and think, okay, what's the catch?
And what's fascinating is, the source seems to know exactly what you're thinking right now. They come right out and say that a claim this big probably sounds unbelievable. Their own words are that it sounds like just words in the wind. They're getting ahead of your skepticism before you even have a chance to really form it.
So what do? To kind of bridge that gap of disbelief, they do something really clever with their messaging. They give you two versions of their claim right next to each other. First, you have the huge, bold claim, we can cure anyone of anything. But then right next to it, they soften it. We can improve health and spirit by at least 50%. It's a really interesting way to manage expectations, kind of nudging a skeptic from no way to maybe.
All right, so if you're making a claim that big, you must have some kind of miracle fix, right? A magic pill or a simple treatment? Well, that's the thing. According to them, the reality is the exact opposite.
Of course, this is the first question anyone would ask. I mean, who wouldn't be hoping for that? Just a simple pill to make it all go away. But their answer? It's a hard no. They're really upfront about it. This is not going to be easy. In fact, they state very clearly that for the patient, it's going to be very hard. So, no magic pill.
And this is where it gets really interesting. The hardest part, they say, isn't physical at all. It's all in your head. They lay out this 4-step mental commitment. Step 1, you have to accept this totally new idea. Step 2, you have to admit that basically everything you think you know about health is wrong. 3, you have to be all in, a full embrace of their method. And 4, you gotta follow every single instruction to the letter. They claim that this mental surrender, this is the toughest part of the whole thing.
Okay, so how do you prove something like this? You can't just talk the talk. So they decided to put their method out there for everyone to see. They've launched a public case study with a man they call David, who has agreed to do this 12-month trial right out in the open. Now, David is the patient we're talking about, the one with that long list of diagnoses from the beginning. And here's a really important detail they stress. His medical analysis, the cancer, the kidney damage, all of it, came from his own independent doctor. Not from them. They're trying to set up a totally unbiased starting line. So they've laid out this very clear timeline. It's a public experiment, really. His initial tests were done 45 days ago. As of when the source material was written, his 1-year clock has officially started ticking. And the final proof, they say, will come in 12 months when they compare the before and after test results.
And this table just lays it all out on the line, doesn't it? You've got these scary, concrete numbers from his doctor on one side, and on the other, just question marks. The only goal they state is that greater than 50% improvement. It's basically a public countdown with a man's life hanging in the balance. And for the next year, nobody knows what's going to fill in those blanks.
And this is where they flip the script. After laying out the whole story, the diagnosis, the wild claim, the difficult process, and this public trial, they turn it all around and point the question right back at you. They ask you, point blank, are you going to be the person who just waits?
The kind of person who sits on the sidelines for a year, just watching to see what happens to David. Are you going to wait for proof before you even consider the possibility?
Or are you the type of person who decides to act now? It's such a powerful call to action, isn't it? The whole idea is, why wait on someone else's results when you could be starting your own story?
And really, it all boils down to this, doesn't it? After everything you've just heard, the grim diagnosis, the almost impossible claim, the intense mental commitment, what's your gut telling you? Is this some kind of revolutionary path to healing? Or is it just a really well-marketed fantasy?
They end with this simple phrase: your opinion matters. They've made their case, and now the ball is in your court. But, as David's 12-month clock is ticking away, maybe the real question isn't just whether this one method is real or fake. Maybe it's about healing itself. How much of it is science, how much is psychology, and how much is just the power of having a radical, unshakable belief? That is the question we're all left with.